Pour écouter cette session en français, veuillez cliquer en bas de votre écran sur l'onglet Interprétation et sélectionner le drapeau français.
Hello, bonjour.
Habari za leo.
On behalf of ICLEI Africa, the Africa Center for Cities, Our Future Cities,
Surge Africa and the Red Cross Crescent Climate Center,
We are delighted to welcome you to the Rise Africa 2023 Action Festival.
Rise Africa is a platform that brings together thinkers, doers, and enablers
to inspire action for sustainable cities.
This is the third edition of our virtual festival.
It brings together insights, practices, and visions from across the continent.
This year's theme is The Cities We Want.
the cities we want.
the cities we want.
The cities we want.
This mirrors the African Union 2063 Agenda vision, the Africa we want.
It is a wonderful Pan-African call for transformative change.
However, the agenda does not adequately embrace urbanization as a potential positive force for improving prosperity, inclusivity, and environmental well-being on the continent.
We need more emphasis on the role of cities and local action. And this festival aims to provide inputs into this agenda.
The cities we have are
Expanding,
incomplete,
inventive,
contested,
facing impending crisis, yet brimming with potential.
The cities we want are
people-centered,
Safe and healthy.
beacons of culture,
unflinchingly modern.
And adapting to change and leading global innovation.
We'll make these cities through
Experimenting,
learning
collaborating,
and amplifying the everyday actions of people who are shaping their cities.
The festival invites you to embrace different ways of knowing,
It invites you to forge new partnerships,
Experiment with new concepts and ideas.
to seek ways to bridge science, business, policy, and the arts.
Together, let's enter this space in the spirit of poetic possibilities.
The cities I want, I already have. In people, all of us children, mommy's sons and daddy's daughters, not raised ideally, but we're still proper. Carrying dust of townships on our skins, unwashable identities and unsolvable complexes, crisscrossing each other with dance, loving where hatred has tried, succeeding where governments have failed. I see monuments in these lives standing here, deities to be worshipped after now, each one gods in their own rights, kings and queens of the yellow and black. We live here together, synchronized dreamers in a city that never sleeps. If there is still one person left grinding on the streets, when you write about a place like Lagos, we do not convolute the language. Come meet us where joy has found us, on the streets where art has found voice, in dance theaters raised on canals, and open mics staged on wooden bridges. I found my cities here, in the people, full of life, each one a road rager, each one a mouthful of curses, each one a mouthful of blessings, each one a hand full of blessings, because that's how it ought to be.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What a note to start on, and welcome to everybody. My name is Ingrid Kutsia. I'm welcoming all of you here at our RISE session on RAMSAR, and to all of the people that are here as attendees, speakers, and panelists, a great word of welcome. It is certainly, before we start the webinar, my role and duty to just cover a few house roles. And with that, I just need to tell you that we're going to ask all of our participants to remain muted during the course of the webinar. If you have any questions, please use the chat box for that purpose so that the speakers can respond to you. You will also have heard by now that the webinar is being recorded, and that by participating in this webinar, it means you are giving consent to be recorded. As I said again, if you are any questions, you will find the chat box at the bottom of your screen. And we ask that where possible, if you've got a question from a specific speaker, you just put their name in there as well. Just to say that we will be having a survey at the end, just to find out what the response is and the participation has been like. And we encourage everybody to please use that survey to give us feedback on our webinar. So as you heard in the video, RISE Africa brings together thinkers, doers, and enablers from across our continent and the world. And the idea today is to inspire action for sustainable cities. For this session on wetland cities, we really are wanting to place the emphasis on the intentions and the workings of the RAMSAR Wetland City Accreditation Initiative, which is an initiative of the RAMSAR Convention on Wetlands, and it was initiated in 2015. So we will not only draw attention to the Wetland City Accreditation Scheme globally, but we're going to focus specifically on what's happening here in the Global South, in our continent, Africa and South Africa. Our Interact Bio project, which focuses on mainstreaming biodiversity, is also the host of this session, and we're currently working in several municipalities in South Africa, all of whom have accredited wetland RAMSAR sites and within their areas of jurisdiction, and thus they are potential candidates for wetland city accreditation. So before I hand over to my colleague Bongiwe Simka, who's going to give us the first presentation on the Interact Bio project, I just want to share our program for today. If you can just take me back to that slide, you will see what we are basically going to do is we're going to hear about the project, a little bit about wetlands. We're going to have a poll to allow you all to participate in that. We're going to hear more about the RAMSAR accreditation and the city accreditation scheme. There's going to be an amazing panel discussion, and then we have a very exciting announcement from a RAMSAR focal point on the RAMSAR COP15, and then we will do the closing. And if you can take me now to my next slide, I just want to also then just welcome all of our speakers. Can I have, there you are. So there you've got the amazing lineup that we have today. So Bongiwe Simka, she's from ICLEI Africa. Then we have Nancy Job from Sandy. We have Zebedee Njisu, who's from the RAMSAR Secretariat, who's the Africa Senior Advisor. John Wusu, who's from Korea National Focal Point and also a member of the Independent Advisory Committee. We have Penuel Mangisi, who's the Zimbabwe National Focal Point. We have Julia Wood from the City of Cape Town. We have Wenry Ren from WWF China. Ainki Lenhardt, also from the Friends of Nelsra here in South Africa. We have Mr. Seung Ong Su from the RAMSAR, Executive Director of the RAMSAR Regional Center. And last but not least, we have Theogen Ngabu from Rwanda Environment Management Authority. And it's a truly international lineup that we have here, all focusing on Africa and wetlands today. And so without further ado, it is now my pleasure that I've welcomed all the wonderful speakers and panelists. And we really are honored that you are here today to introduce to you our first speaker, a colleague of mine, Bongiwe Simka, who's going to tell you about the Interact Bio project. Bongi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ingrid. Greetings to everyone. As introduced, I am Bongiwe, and I work in ICLEI's Biodiversity, Health, and Nature Workstream, where I focus on nature-based solutions. And I'll be providing a very brief overview of the session's host project, the Integrated Action on Biodiversity Project, Interact Bio for short. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So the Integrated Action on Biodiversity project is a Global South initiative that is funded by the German Federal Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety, BMUV, and is implemented by ICLEI across its various regional offices. The project started in 2017 and is running until 2024. And since its inception, the project has been implemented across 22 city regions spanning 6 countries. Next slide, please. So the overall project aim is to, thank you. The overall project aim is to support city regions localize their biodiversity strategy and action plans by connecting decision makers across the different scales through vertical integration to work together towards integrating biodiversity considerations into local planning and decisions. It also aims to strengthen the capacity of city regions to better mainstream biodiversity and nature-based solutions into land use, infrastructure and development planning, and to develop supporting policy instruments to guide and facilitate the mainstreaming process. And lastly, by so doing, we are able to enhance biodiversity mainstreaming at the national and at the local level, improving cross-sectoral integration as well. Next slide, please. So in line with that, the project has been hosting South-South learning exchange events like this one, where we bring together different stakeholders to help support cities in the achievement of national targets and towards the achievement of the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. Through these South-South learning exchanges, we create a space for peer learning through dialogue and through sharing of relevant resources such as those that are accessible through the Cities of Asia platform, where we share tools and best practices for cities. And lastly, we create partnerships and drive the successful localization of all of those plans and strategies by connecting different cities across the Global South and beyond. Next slide, please. And then in terms of the session's relevance to the project, wetlands are among the most valuable ecosystems and are key in providing services critical to sustaining healthy and resilient communities. And I think we cannot overemphasize the key role wetlands play in underpinning and sustaining biodiversity processes and function, from playing a critical role in water security, providing shelter for a number of species, and flood attenuation, which are key to building communities that are resilient to the impacts of climate change. So in the last CBD COP, which was held in Montreal in December 2022, wetlands were included in the new global targets to halt and reverse biodiversity loss by 2030 through what is known as the 30 by 30 targets, calling all governments to prioritize wetlands in the NBSAPs and interventions as a way to achieve a nature positive world. And given our project's role of supporting city regions drive sustainable conservation and management of biodiversity, and having RAMSAR sites in some of our project cities as well, the session forms a very huge part of doing just that, highlighting the value of sustainable wetland management and what other global initiatives and partnerships exist to drive impact at the local level, while also ultimately contributing to achieving the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework and beyond. Thanks, Ingrid.
Thank you so much, Bongi. We're going to move over to our next speaker, but before I introduce Nancy, I just want to tell everybody that we are trying to resolve this problem with the black box or block on the slides. And then also just to let everybody know, just keep a watch on the chat box. We are putting in nice links that you can go and find out more information from each of the projects in there as well. And I believe Nancy has joined us. So if we can get our slides back up, I hope the tech team is around. There you are. So Nancy Joe is somebody that I've known for many years, and it's great to have you here on our platform. Nancy is from Sanbi, and she is going to talk to us about the work that they are doing, wetlands in South Africa, and specifically in relation to the importance of the RAMSAR sites. And Nancy is a freshwater program lead for the Freshwater Biodiversity Unit in Sanbi, and we will paste her bio into the chat box. So Nancy, without further ado, over to you, and then we can... I can just mute myself, Nancy.
Great, thank you so much, Ingrid. It's such a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity. So we could go onto the first slide, if possible. Great, and then I think it's already been introduced to be part of Sanbi, so we could probably go rapidly onto the next slide. But just to say, those flamingos are at one of the City of Cape Town's wetland sites. So always a pleasure to go and look at the flamingos there at one of the RAMSAR sites. but just to start on the kind of sober notes, everyone hears this message probably quite a lot, but I'm part of the program that runs the National Biodiversity Assessment. I lead the freshwater component, and our task is to report on the status of wetlands in the country. We do that every 5, sometimes 5 to 6. We're trying to make it more regular. And so our most recent outcome was the wetlands continue to decline in condition, which means that our types of wetlands are in a dire state, with 80%, roughly 80% in a poor condition, which means we need to mobilize ourselves and work together on this wetland map. I lead the National Wetland Map program, and we're really trying to decentralize our approach and work across all the partnerships we possibly can in South Africa. So we're working with all the levels of people, from citizen scientists up to provincial coordinators and to specialist partners. We've automating our workflows, and we're really ramping up our remote sensing. We've got a new postdoc. We're trying multiple methods, and hopefully watch this space and please work together with us. You'll all be co-authors so that in each of our areas we have the best possible wetland map. And so we can start to really develop good management programs and good monitoring, and really ramp up our efforts to conserve and work with these systems. Okay, great. I'm ready for the next one. Sorry, I meant to remove the timing, but yes, if you could go on to the next slide. So there's so many. We're such a diverse. We're a hotspot of diversity in multiple places in South Africa. I'm just going to touch on a few of our wetland types. So this hasn't got a title, but it speaks to our peat wetlands. So there's been a recent global peatland assessment down in the left-hand corner there. So Africa has approximately 8% of the global wetlands, and then obviously South Africa, a semi-arid country, has even a tinier percent. And even of our wetlands in South Africa, it's a really tiny percent. Nevertheless, there are some of the peat wetlands can be up to 8 meters deep, which means they're a repository of really long-term ancient history. They're our heritage sites for South Africa. They're also big storage. Thank you. Big water storage areas. So we really do need to protect our peatlands, but we've got a big task. So because they're not all mapped, they're not described, they're not monitored, and they're really diverse. You can see the two on the right-hand side are forested, our swamp forest peatlands, but we've got some on the left which are palmite, endemic to the Western Cape, a little bit across into Eastern Cape, and then we've got grassland peatlands. So we've got a wide range of peatland types, even though they're just a tiny percentage. We could go to the next slide, please. And similarly, for the next slide, we've got almost half of our total wetland number that's been mapped. We've still got plenty of our wetlands to map, but we've got a high number of depressional wetlands, which we call PANs in South Africa. And those also are very diverse. We've got some that are permanently wet, groundwater dependent with peat, some that are saline, some that are dry for many years, but harbor like very specialized aquatic invertebrates, rare plants, endemic plants. And so that pan felt, as it was, is in the grasslands and kind of the northern parts of our country. Again, under-described, not monitored. So we've got a big task ahead of us to really look after our wetlands. And that will take all of us and a lot of collaborative work. Next slide, please. So our wetlands, just again, we've got any manner of impact from surrounded by agriculture, plowed through. Up at the top right is one of our peat wetlands, which should be 8 meters of peat, completely covered with vegetation, and now is a massive gully. We build houses in some of our wetlands. So we've got really a lot of impacts. And, the first slide where I showed the threat status, if I hadn't given so little time for there, what I'd wanted to bring out is a lot of our wetlands that are highly impacted are concentrated around our urban areas. So I think that speaks particularly to today's focus. If we could go to the next slide, please. And the next slide. So we've got the high impact, but we also there's been a lot of great work across the country to rehabilitate our wetlands, but that's expensive. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, and one of the biggest wetland rehabilitation exercises, you can see this tiny size of the people. You can imagine that's many millions of rands worth of rehabilitation infrastructure and technical expertise to bring something like that about. And some of the wetlands are very steep, like the one on the left-hand side. You can see the people as well. You can't really kind of see the steepness of the slope, but it's incredibly steep. So what we really want to do is find that small number of wetlands that we have left that are in good condition, and not only in good condition, but the ones that are providing an exponential extent of services to people. So we want our biodiversity repositories, our paleo repositories, and we want those wetlands that are ecological infrastructure. And we want to identify those on our maps. Great. And so then if you could go into, I think it's almost the last slide. Then we have a number of, I think, 29 RAMSAR sites across the country. This slide is courtesy of Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment. So the RAMSAR sites are spread across estuaries, marine sites, some islands, and then 15 inland wetlands. So we have a diversity of wetlands that we're working to conserve, and we'd like to look forward to where are the next wetland sites. Out of our 160,000 wetlands or more, we've got many more wetlands out there, and yes, so let's keep going with a couple of new RAMSAR sites on the horizon. I think if you could move to the next slide. Thank you. So also just a final kind of last slide to really think about our RAMSAR sites. RAMSAR really gives us this amazing opportunity. The original focus of waterfowl habitat, which is really critically important. So we want to really keep going with those sites, identifying even more of them. But we also really benefit being part of RAMSAR with that broadened focus that comes along with the RAMSAR work in the country around wise use, thinking of wetlands as fully rounded ecosystems, ecosystems that serve human communities as well. So through the RAMSAR, we have increased awareness, increased information about wetlands that's disseminated, tourism opportunities. People can take ownership of their wetlands. Thank you to the slide master. I really appreciate it. Sorry. And also again, this opportunity of bringing people together to partner and really bring about more information and share information about the sites. And from my perspective, from Sandy's perspective, we feed this information up into policy. These sites are some of our flagships for the state of wetlands in the country. Sorry, that was a bit rushed. I hope that was okay. That's it from me. Thank you very much. You could show the last slide.
Thank you so much, Nancy. That was really great, and a rather sad story, but I think with all the dedication and passion around this, certainly around this webinar and in the country and elsewhere, I'm sure we can turn the thing around. What we're going to do now, and I'm going to ask our tech team, Ivan from our tech team, please, we are going to have a multimeter survey. And I'm asking you all, there you are, to participate in this. You can either scan the link to do that, or else you can follow the link that's in the chat. There you are. So please, if you could just quickly do that. We have a few minutes for that, I believe about 5 minutes. So I'm going to just allow you to move through those 2 questions. Okay, we've got about just under a minute left to go, and then I will restart our session. Okay, thank you. So we're going to move on to the next part of our session. And if I can ask Ivan just to put up the next slide, please. The multimeter will stay open for a while still, but I want to use this opportunity to introduce you to Zebedee Njisu, who's the Senior Africa Advisor and the National Focal Point and IAC member at the RAMSAR Secretariat. And Zebedee is going to talk to us about the convention, and he will introduce specifically the City Wetland Accreditation Scheme, its purpose, what it's all about. So this is a very exciting part of our presentation, our webinar today. So Zebedee, over to you. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Ingrid, and welcome to the participants and the panelists to this very exciting opportunity offered by ICLEI Africa and globally. And so before we jump into the real things, let me tell you a little bit about the RAMSAR Convention on Wetlands. So popularly known as RAMSAR by many, you should know that RAMSAR is a small town in Iran. That's where the treaty was signed. And most people today think that the convention is generally called RAMSAR, just similarly like you would refer to the Abidjan Convention or the Nairobi Convention. So the official name of our convention is the Convention on Wetlands. And so we are 52 years old this year because we were created in 1971. And initially, the purpose was in recognition of waterways and coastal ecosystems as being important, and also the recognition of the ecosystem services and functions that are provided by wetlands. But most importantly, at the time, by its pioneers, was the concern over the loss of wetlands, especially as waterfowl habitats. That's why the name of the convention particularly encompasses that. So at its creation, its mission was to conserve and promote the wise use of wetlands through local actions, national actions, and international corporations. But it was just not for that purpose, but also to promote this conservation and wise use for sustainable developments. At the time it was created, the three pillars of the convention, which have remained till date, were to promote the wise use of wetlands, the designation of a network of RAMSAR sites known globally as wetlands of international importance. The previous speaker presented nicely what South Africa is doing in this regards on designation of RAMSAR sites, but most importantly, promoting international cooperation in the management and wise use of these wetlands, particularly through transboundary RAMSAR sites. Today, we have 63 transboundary RAMSAR sites globally, but Africa also has a number of them, which are not many. We have a lot of potential towards creating more transboundary RAMSAR sites. So what are RAMSAR sites generally? RAMSAR site, to qualify as a RAMSAR site, you need to meet one of 9 criteria that is defined by a group of scientists globally. And it is one amongst this criteria that would enable that site to function in the maintaining of the ecosystem services and biodiversity, both at the local, national, and international levels. So RAMSAR sites are generally known to promote ecosystem services and habitats for species that enable recognition generally from an international perspective. So the convention is implemented through a strategic plan. We are currently at the 4th strategic plan, which will be wrapping up by 2025. The 5th strategic plan is just about starting. And I will really encourage the advocates of the RAMSAR wetland city accreditation to participate in the process of developing this 5th strategic plan, because it presents an opportunity to mainstream actions for developing cities that we want to see in this. Already we have seen the UN ecosystems on ecosystem restoration action plan position cities very well in their action plan, and it will be good if the proponents of the wetland city accreditation, when I say proponents, included myself, to follow up closely, to make sure that wetland cities are well positioned in our upcoming strategic plan. So, as I have indicated, our convention is implemented through and measured through the strategic plan. We are currently in the 4th and preparing the 5th. And so the wetland city accreditation is just a single or one of the tools that we use in the implementation of this convention. About its origin, it goes back to 2008 at the 10th Conference of the Parties, where parties here under the UN system is generally referred to as countries or countries. So they were invited at the 10th conference of the parties to start paying attention to the importance of their wetlands in urban and peri-urban areas, and to take appropriate measures to conserve and protect them. During that important meeting, a resolution 10.27 encouraged countries to recognize local governments that demonstrate good management practices, including the wise use of urban and peri-urban wetlands. So following that conference, at the 12th conference of the contracting parties in 2012, Resolution 11.11 endorsed principles for the planning and management of urban and peri-urban wetlands, because if you are going to manage your urban and peri-urban wetlands, you need some guidance. And so on that premise, it also requested the convention to explore the possibility of establishing the Wetland City Accreditation Scheme. So in response to this request, in 2020, the 12th conference of the parties in 2015 now established a voluntary Wetland City Accreditation Scheme that we are currently talking about. And so that scheme encourages cities that are located near and dependent on wetlands, not only RAMSAR sites, but all wetlands, to establish a positive relationship with wetlands through increased participation, awareness raising, and consideration in local planning and decision making. So the Wetland City Accreditation aims to promote conservation and wise use of wetlands at regional and international cooperation, and the socio-economic benefits of local communities. So this scheme took off in 2015, and the first accredited cities got the accreditation in 2018 in Dubai during COP13. So till date, we have 43 accredited wetland cities worldwide, and the last 25 received accreditation at COP14 in Geneva. By the end of this month, we are going to launch the next call of proposals for candidate cities. When I say candidate cities, those cities that are aspiring to get accreditation. But at the same time, we'll be launching a call for renewal of accreditations, because the IAC and contracting parties have decided that accreditation cannot go forever. You need to be monitored to make sure that what you have agreed to do, you are doing it and even improving. So once you get accreditation, it will last for 2 ordinary cycles, so 6 years or 2 COPs. And so we'll be launching a call for candidate cities, and also for the renewal of accreditations. For the renewal of accreditations in this case, we will specifically be looking at those cities that received accreditation in 2018, because by 2025, they would have expired or at least 6 years. I will leave you for now and expect any questions to clarify any expectations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zebedee. And I can just say that this is a very unique and a very special scheme, actually. It's one of the only conventions that I know that has a scheme that is focused specifically on cities and enables them in that way to participate in the the global convention. So it's very special, and I think RAMSAR can be very, very proud of the work that they've done. I know that there are many other conventions that are quite jealous of your beautiful wetland city accreditation scheme. So with this, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, and we're going to yet another part of the world. We really are traveling around today, and it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Yoon Woo Soo. He is from Korea, and he's the national focal point and IAC member, and he's going to delve a little bit deeper into these wetland city accreditation scheme, and he's going to show us or tell us how to apply the wetland accreditation scheme. So we're doing a bit of a deep dive now, and Yoon Woo, I am going to hand you over to yourself, and then we will put your, I see they've already put your bio into the chat box. Right, over to you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, very well. We just need to get your slides up.
Right, thank you, Ingrid, for kindly another ICLEI colleagues inviting me to this really meaningful session. Really happy to join you here today. Let's see if I can share my slide. Here you go. Can you see my slide?
Not
okay.
Quite.
Right. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can. Beautiful.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We just heard from ZBD from the RAMSAR Secretariat about the brief information about this wetland city accreditation and how it came to be and what it is for. I hope that was interesting. And if you are interested, this presentation will be also interesting to you. Hopefully, this is about as an interested city, what you should do to apply for the accreditation and then to be accredited. I'm aware that I don't have much time allocated to me for this presentation, so I will try to go fast. But if you have any questions related to the content of this presentation, yeah, feel free to talk to ICLEI. ICLEI is one of the independent advisory committee for this accreditation, and has been involved in it for many, many years. There you go. So in my presentation, I'll be talking about briefly the overall accreditation process to give you a big picture of how it happens and when it happens, and the criteria that the cities should meet to be accredited, followed by some additional useful information for you. So, as ZBD mentioned earlier, the accreditation process is taking place on basis of trienniums, which is COP cycles for RAMSAR convention. So what happens in year one, which is this year, 2023, is that the cities will receive call for applications, which will be issued at the end of May. Then, of course, the next step is the cities will fill in and complete the nomination form and send it to their administrative authority. What I mean by administrative authority here is the government department or ministry in charge of dealing with RAMSAR convention. In many cases, it's Minister of Environment or Minister of Foreign Affairs. And then the administrative authority will review the nomination form that you filled in and endorse all its contents, and then submit it to the Secretariat. And the next year, Secretariat will receive the nomination forms and forward them to the Independent Advisory Committee, which we call the IAC, who will evaluate all the nomination forms to decide which cities are to be accredited, and then to report the result to the Standing Committee of the convention. This is taking place in year 3. And then the Standing Committee will take note, and the Secretariat will make the official announcement of the newly accredited cities. And then the accredited cities will be invited to attend a meeting of Conference of the Parties, RAMSAR COP, to receive certificates at an awarding ceremony. And that will be taking place in 2025. And once the city is accredited, as Secretariat mentioned, the accreditation status will last for 6 years normally, or 2 COP cycles, which is taking place every 3 years. Once the city is accredited in 2025, what happens is that in 2029, which will be year 7, you'll receive another call for application, this time for renewal. And you will have to fill in basically follow the same process here for your renewal. And then finally, the renewal will be confirmed in year 9, which will be 2031 in the normal convention calendar. For those of you who are not sure who your administrative authorities are in your country, just briefly go to the RAMSAR websites, and it looks like this. And if you click sites and countries, and then click country profiles, you'll see you can find your country. Then you can click here, view contact. Then you'll see a number of people working on it, national focal points. The personal information might be outdated, but at least you know which divisions are responsible, so you can contact them for any inquiries for the national processes. Moving on to the criteria part, which is most important, but I realize I can't really go into details because my times are limited, but I will provide you with the resources where you can take a look and get more information. But to be briefly going through them, there are 2 groups for the criteria, A and B. Criteria A includes 6 criteria which are mandatory, which means an applicant city has to have met all these criteria to be accredited. If you fail one of these criteria, you will not get a chance. And these criteria would be evaluated through the information provided in response to 9 questions. That's A1 through 9, which you will be able to find in the nomination form. And Group B, on the other hand, is non-mandatory. There are complementary approach, optional for the cities to fill in, but we strongly encourage the cities to provide this information, as this is really helpful for the IAC to learn more about the wetland cities, and then it also helps us to monitor how wetland cities are doing once accredited. And there are 2 criteria attached with 3 questions. Okay, the first criteria in Group 1 is, which is obvious one, asking if the cities have any wetlands of international importance, aka RAMSAR sites, or other wetland conservation sites, fully or partly situated within its jurisdiction. And this is attached by 2 questions, basically asking the names of these wetlands and whether if a city doesn't have any wetland RAMSAR site, the other wetlands have any legal conservation status, which in most cases you would have some legal status, but some cities don't. So it's basically asking those. And the second criterion is about whether the city has adopted measures for conservation of wetlands. You can provide any information regarding the national or local policies, legislative measures, and regulations, management plans, etc., to prove that you do have measures in place for wetland conservation. 1 question attached to that. The third criterion is about restoration of wetlands. In this criterion, the 1 question will be asking you to provide any specific examples of where wetlands have been created or restored within the within the city as urban infrastructure to provide services such as control flooding, climate control, water quality improvement, etc. The next criterion is about if the wetlands are being considered in the larger integrated spatial land use planning in the city. And in this question, to this question, you can provide any information about how the wetlands are considered as an important element in which management plans, such as river basin management, spatial zonation, water resource management, etc. Then the next fifth criterion, which I think is the most important one, attached with 3 questions, is about public awareness and public participation. Here you'll be asked how the cities are ensuring the participation of local stakeholders, including indigenous peoples and local communities, women, youth, marginalized and vulnerable groups, and civil society in the relevant decision-making and city planning and management processes. Other 2 questions about public awareness, whether the city has established any means of raising levels of public awareness, such as wetland education or information centers, providing the public with information on wetlands regularly, and having school education programs, etc. And the last question is whether the city is promoting Wetlands World Wetlands Day or National Wetlands Day as appropriate. And the last criterion is whether the city has a local committee specifically dedicated for this wetland accreditation scheme to support it and to ensure that the city maintain the qualifications to keep its accreditation. And group B is about whether the city is having the general standards for water quality, sanitation, and management, and also whether it recognizes and considers social, economic, cultural values, various ecosystem services that wetlands provide in their decision-making processes. But I guess I'm running out of time. I should not spend much time on here because they're not as pivotal as others. Finally, things I would like to emphasize for those who are interested and are planning to apply for this accreditation. Firstly, consult your administration authority regarding any national processes, because they are the ones who will be reviewing your applications in order to endorse each content, and this process could take time, especially if your country has a lot of nominations. And secondly, you will be receiving, along with the call for applications, guidance notes for cities on new applications. Please read the documents thoroughly, and you will see, you will learn about what's expected in the nomination form in detail. Thirdly, in the nomination form, you will see answer boxes in yellow to each question. And those boxes are only for text description and strictly limited to 2,500 words each. You may have any other evidence that you want to provide, that the evidence of what you have described in those answer boxes. Those can be either in file forms or internet links can be attached at the end of the nomination form for your national focal point and also the IAC to consider in their evaluation. That's it. I realized that My presentation has been so dry because of the content. I had to go through all these one by one. And also I have a dry voice because of a cold I have. Sorry about that. But if you, I hope that was useful to you, that to those interested in this accreditation scheme. If you have any questions, like I said, you can also talk to me, but talk to ICLEI. ICLEI has been really following up on this accreditation, has a lot of information. And lastly, I visited Kigali, one of the 4 African Ramsar wetland cities just last month, and I was really impressed to see just how green the city is and how in harmony the people in the nature are. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more African cities to join this beautiful initiative, and looking forward to seeing you guys at the RAMSAR Cup. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, June. And yes, it's technical, but I think you did a very good job. You condensed a whole lot of very technical information into a good presentation. The slide that you see up now is the slide of the 18 accredited wetland cities that were the first from 2018, sorry, so you can see that up. And we are going to shortly show you a very short little video to show you the ones that were accredited at COP14, which was held last year, 2022. So there you can see the latest batch. All right, so a little bit of a glitch there. We didn't get the 2022 version, but maybe we can show it at the end. I think let's just be innovative here and let's move over to our panel discussion. And I'm going to introduce my panelists now. We have their photos up. So to welcome from my left to the right, first of all, Julia Wood, who's from the city of Cape Town, and she's the biodiversity manager. And then we have Wenwei Ren, who's the director of the Shanghai Conservation Program of WWF based in China. We have Anki Leonard. She's a member of the Friends of Nailsflay. And we have Seung Oh Soo, who's the executive director of the Regional Center for RAMSAR, also based in Korea. And then finally, we have all the way from Rwanda, we have Theogene Ngabo, who is the Rwanda National Focal Point, and he's works in the Rwanda Environment Management Authority. So my first question, and I hope, Julia, that you can unmute yourself, is to you. And I want to just congratulate the City of Cape Town. They are our new babies on the block. Their RAMSAR sites were accredited now at COP14. And the question that I have to you is, as a newly accredited RAMSAR wetland city, what does this status mean for the City of Cape Town, and specifically for how the city governs or manages the urban wetlands. And the second part of my question is, what are or will be the practical on-the-ground implications of accreditation for the city's wetlands and for its residents, the people that live here? Over to you, Julia.
Hi, thank you, Ingrid. I don't know if you can see me. I can't see myself.
Yes,
so
we can see you.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, hello, everybody. Thank you very, very much for inviting me. It's really fascinating to sit and listen to the presentation. So it was really, really great. Okay, I don't have a lot of time, so I will try and get into it. I just wanted to sort of just remind people about Cape Town. I mean, we all know it's like a huge biodiversity hotspot, and it's the most sort of biodiverse city in the world. I've said that numerous times. We have over 40 different wetland types, and it's just as a result of the vegetation being so diverse that we have all these vegetation types, and we've got about 11,000 hectares of vegetation. And obviously we have a RAMSAR site. The wetlands in Cape Town are extensively used by the communities. We also have big job creation programs. We do have many issues, and I think that's quite important. And I'm sure you all have heard about the drought issues that we have in Cape Town, which could be an ongoing. Also some of the water quality issues. We're a very large growing city. I think we grow the largest in Africa. I might be wrong, but it does come with a lot of issues, informal settlements. Some of our infrastructure is very old, so we do have a lot of water quality issues. So for me, internationally, I think the first thing is it's a huge plus because we get recognized that the city is doing something correctly in all our busy day. And that for us and also for the politicians is unbelievable. And in terms of the money that is spent on fixing the wetlands up, it's really fantastic to be recognized internationally. It's really important to be linked with provincial, national, international networking. And also we consider as part of a panel like this, for me, which is critically important to be able to share some lessons. But then I was thinking, well, what really does it help the people on the ground? For me, it provides a lot of information. And when I was actually putting together the application form, which is quite long, and but it also is quite strict criteria, which I also think is important. But for us, it made us really focus on all the different wetlands, learning about all the different types. We have about 40, and when it relates to RAMSAR, I think it's about 16 or 18 types, I can't quite remember, of RAMSAR wetland types. And it also reminded me that we have a really interesting peatlands that, and I know Nancy Job talked about how important they were in some of our catchment areas. It also reminds me that we have many aquifers, which were critical during the drought. But for the people on the ground, it provides a real focus for us. It provides a focus where people can get involved in the formal steering committee that we will be setting up shortly. And also part of something bigger, sharing what's happening internationally, involving the communities in the steering, getting more people involved. It can also assist us with the funding, funding applications with internal and external. And for me as well, all the information around the wetlands is, we often miss the link between how important biodiversity, wetlands and climate change are. And I think at the moment, that is really something as a community we're trying to grapple with. And our wetlands are used a lot. And I really, really think that the RAMSAR City Wetland Accreditation really makes us consolidate a lot of the information, show the politicians and the communities in Cape Town that we have something really special, and also look at the sort of stewardship with the communities on the ground as they link in a committee. So that's really all for myself, but so far it's been a wonderful experience to have joined the rest of the world and really feel as though we actually recognized internationally on the international stage, and that has been absolutely amazing for us. So thank you to RAMSAR, and I really would encourage other cities to join. and hopefully in 6 years' time we will renew our membership, our accreditation. So it really has been quite an interesting ride. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Julia. And before I pass on to our next panelist, I just want to bring June's attention to the fact that there is a question directed to him in the chat box. June, if you could just maybe print out or just type your response to that question in the chat box, that will be great. And I'm going to continue now with our panelists. And my next question is also to another newly accredited city, which is the city of Kigali. And I would like to congratulate the government or Rwanda as a country, as well as the city of Kigali. They're also a new one on the block here. And my question is to you, Theogene Ngabu. What, in your experience and from Rwanda's experience, what is the value of the accreditation of, for example, the wetlands of the city of Kigali to Rwanda at the national level? You're representing a national government. And how does the recognition, the global recognition of the wetlands in Kigali promote urban wetland management, particularly in a context where we have rapid economic development and urban expansion, such as much elsewhere in Africa? So if we could get your response, please, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the good question. I think you hear me. Before starting, allow me to give you a quick picture of Rwanda in terms of wetland management. And as you know, Rwanda has about 935 wetlands and 100 of lakes, covering 10% of the country surface. We have one RAMSAR site, Lugezi, and we have also other 3 new RAMSAR sites under designation process. As you mentioned by other colleagues, wetland in our cities, not only in the city of Kigali, they are very important. They contribute to the livelihood of local citizens by their ecosystem services. In our city, we need clean water. We need also recreation zone, which also host biodiversity. So wetlands are very important, especially urban wetlands. So talking about urban growth, Rwanda has the highest annual urban growth rate worldwide, currently estimated at 4.5%, which normally exceeds the average worldwide at 1.8%. Kigali is the biggest city, which with the majority of urban population, but also we have other 6 secondary cities and satellite cities, which also urban wetland. As you mentioned, the rapid urban growth come with enormous challenges with city planners and the managers who have to balance economic development with environmental sustainability in order to ensure that cities today can deliver not only the basic services, but also these cities are safe, resilient, also environmental friendly. So in Rwanda, one of the key challenges we have in our wetland is the pollution and the degradation due to encroachment and unsustainable use of wetland through agriculture, human settlement. Also, these are exacerbated by climate change. In response, Rwanda has made significant effort in terms of wise use and the rehabilitation of wetland. Thank you, Joe, to have visited Rwanda and to have also appreciated our effort. And as he said, our country is green, but also Rwanda is recognized worldwide to be the most clean cities, the Kigali city. We are among the pioneers to have banned the use of plastic bags and the single-use plastic. Also, we are also glad to have been recognized as under wetland city accreditation. In Rwanda also, we have rehabilitated some wetlands. A good example is Nyandungu, now which is a good recreational park, which before used to be a highly degraded wetland. In Rwanda also, we have this law enforcement. We have relocated all illegal activities, most of illegal activities from wetland. Our wetland used to host industrial zone, commercial buildings, residential zone, and actually most of all industrial zone have been relocated within a special industrial zone. And we are in the process of relocating all residential zone within the wetland. We are also implementing a project seeking to improve the livelihood and also the rehabilitation of wetland. So coming back to your question, the recognition has a big value for the country, not only the city of Kigali, but also other cities in our region, because we are sure that this recognition is a good inspiration for all cities in the region in order to increase their effort in the sustainable use of urban wetland, as well as sustainable economic activities that promote importance of this ecosystem for local population. Secondly, the award promote the conservation and the wise use of urban and urban wetland, as well as the benefit for local communities. We have on the service of local communities. So our communities are fully integrated in the wise use of wetland, and they are aware that our cities was rewarded the city accreditation, and they are willing to contribute and increase their participation in the wise use of wetland. In Rwanda, we have a homegrown solution, and special case we have what we call umuganda, which is conducted every month, where all citizens contribute to the cleaning of wetland, managing wetland, also the cleaning of cities. So this information was welcomed by our residents, and they are willing to keep improving their contribution in the wise use of wetland. The last but not the least, the accreditation is a good opportunity for the city and for Rwanda to enter in the network of accredited cities. This will be a good opportunity also to advertise and attract investors to contribute to the implementation of our wetland master plan. Yeah, I didn't say that. Also, within the city of Kigali, we have elaborated the wetland master plan, which highlight some zoning zone, and we have some zoning for rehabilitation, zone for sustainable use, zone for conservation, zone for ecotourism. All those zoning are good window where investors can enter and invest in Rwanda and contribute to the wise use of wetland. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That is a very impressive story that you're telling us there. And certainly I like the umaganda, if I got that pronunciation right. I like that very much. So I'm going to hand over now to somebody else who needs congratulations. And this is Wenhui Ren, who congratulations to China, because they have no less than 13 wetland accredited cities. And my question to you, Wenhui, is China has been quite at the forefront and a forerunner in getting their wetland cities accredited. Why, from your experience, has there been such a significant focus and interest in wetland accreditation in your country? And secondly, how do you think the impact of the state of urban wetlands and their ecosystem services to the Chinese cities will unfold? Thank you.
Okay, Thanks, Ingrid, and also thank you inviting me here to share China's experience. Since China and Africa, both of them is in developing country, I think maybe there's Africa country can learn something from China's experience. Yes, so far there is the 13 cities in China has been accredited as the RAMSAR wetland city. Maybe this year there inspire more city to apply for the next RAMSAR city. Why there been such a significant focus and interesting on wetland city accreditation? I think in general, it's kind of simple that wetland conservation has been mainstreamed in China after the 13 years accumulative efforts. China joined the RAMSAR Convention since the 1992. So 30 years ago, wetland just kind of we call the unused land in the land use planning or classification. So this is, it was not protected by any law or regulation. So it can be easily reclaimed by the any human activity to as the farmland or any other constructed land. And also public have no too much idea about the wetland. They just think wetland is kind of dangerous place like the marshland. So this is the situation 30 years ago. So WWF China have done a lot of work to lobby government to protect the wetland, to improve the public awareness, to pay more attention to the wetland. So little by little, both government and public, even the corporate, they are changing their attitude to the wetland. So currently, the wetland has been protected by law at a different level. From the central government, we have the national wetland law, and also the provincial level and the local city level. And also the average people has begun to think the wetland is kind of important ecosystem. So they will be feel honored if their city or their neighborhood have a piece of wetland or wetland park. So this is kind of general background information why there is such a significant focus and interesting on the wetland accreditation. In addition, there is also some detailed reason as followed. I think first is the central government have very strong political will. China now is promoting their so-called eco-civilization. It's kind of pursue the green development and promoting the harmony between humanity and the nature to build the beautiful China. I think this is not only kind of the philosophy or vision, but it's also kind of the top-down, the mechanism to guide the provincial or the city level government to follow to how to pursue this vision. So in order to adapt this new normal economical development, China has put forward a new development concept. So in this concept, they are emphasize the high quality development. So this model, the model to build in the RAMSAR wetland city is exactly fit this kind of new development model. So it means innovative, coordinated, green, open, and shared. So wetland city will be kind of a solid demonstration to show this kind of new development model. So this is from central government. I think it is very strong political will. From the ministry level or the city level, I think there are also very strong motivation. In China, as Joe mentioned, we need administrative authority. In China, currently the wetland conservation work is charged by state forest and grassland administrative. We call the SFGA. So SFGA set a system or scheme to protect the wetland. It's from the different level, from the wetland nature reserve or the wetland national park to the wetland park. Wetland park is more focused on the ecotourism. To the small and micro wetland habitat So this is a very comprehensive system, and it covers all different types of wetland. But it still meets some bottleneck when they are implement this scheme on the ground. Since in a city or in a province, the wetland conservation, they link to different stakeholders, different government department. We call in Chinese is called, we call nine dragon manage water. In China, the dragon means manage water. So for example, the Ministry of the Environmental Department, they are charged of the water quality. The Ministry of Agriculture, they are responsible for the fishery. The Ministry of the Water Resource, they are responsible for the flood control, etc. So, in the city level, we need a platform to integrate different dragons, to integrate different stakeholders, bring them together in the same table. So I think a city is a good platform. Also, city is a good scale. It's not too small, it's not too big. So the city mayor can coordinate the different departments. We call coordinate different dragons. So this is, I think, from the administrative authority. They have very strong motivation to promote this RAMSAR city. On the other hand, from city level, since with the quick urbanization in the past 14 years, a lot of the city grow faster. But in China, a lot of cities also face many environmental challenges, such as we call the urban heat island, also the urban storm water flooding, or lack of nature. So people we call we are city are they call concrete forest. It means lack of nature. So this is cause a lot of problems, etc. So the people living in the city, they feel uncomfortable. So in order to solve this problem, a lot of the city began to think about how to bring the nature back to the city, how to reinstall the nature in the city. So they began to build a lot of, they call forest build the city, or sponge city, or the garden city, etc. But meanwhile, a lot of city mayor, they also want to need some, they call the international brand, also they call the city name card to, how to say, to attract, to boost the city development or attract the tourists. So, so RAMSAR Wetland City is very much this mayor's needs. This is why they have strong motivation to apply this RAMSAR city. So I have the chance to talk with several RAMSAR city mayor. They are very proud their city has been accredited as a RAMSAR city. So they said this is their city's name card. So this is, I think, this is the motivation from the city level. In terms of the impact of the urban city, urban wetland, I think this is a huge and big impact to the urban wetland conservation and the ecosystem service. Of course, this is a positive impact. First is from funding. So if the city be accredited the RAMSAR city or wetland city, I think it's secure enough funding to support wetland restoration or conservation. In addition, they also leverage more green finance to support the urban development, especially if we have built some more urban green infrastructure. So wetland restoration or the wetland conservation will be integrated to the city's future planning and the construction in the middle or long term period. Second is from legislation. So urban wetland will be protected by different level wetland law or regulation. In terms of the ecosystem service itself, in the wetland city, the urban wetland will maximize his ecosystem service and minimize and mitigate the problem in the urban area, such as I mentioned before, the urban heat island or the flood caused by urban storm water. So I think this is the wetland city can make the city more resilient to the climate change and are more livable for the people. So that's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a lot. And thank you so much for sharing those very precious lessons with us from China. I'm going to hand over now to our next panelist, Ankie Leonard. Ankie, given the importance of the Nailsplay as a Ramsar site for the Waterberg area, especially in regard to ecotourism and conservation, what are some of the socio-economic benefits of having a Ramsar site in your area? And what advice could you give local governments pursuing Ramsar accreditation or Ramsar Wetland City accreditation? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all the participants and listeners. I came to rise every secretariat that I can take part in the webinar. I will just give a short background to the Nailsplay RAMSAR site for those who are not familiar to it. It is South Africa's second largest inland floodplain in South Africa. It forms part of the Waterberg UNESCO biosphere. Nailsplay Nature Reserve became a RAMSAR site in 1998. The Nailsplay.
I think you've muted yourself. Oh, cut the call. 1 second, I'll get it back on the line.
We're just having a few technical glitches there, but just give us a few minutes and we'll get her back. We're doing it African style here. We've got someone on the phone and we are projecting her through Zoom. So are you back, Ankie?
Yeah.
There you are. Thank you. Thanks. Very innovative.
Nature Reserve became a RAMSAR site in 1998. Nailsplay RAMSAR site is not only important to the aquatic such as fish, but also to dragonflies. It houses a variety of endangered and migratory birds. And it is also an important breeding site for the roe and snow. Look at the socio-economic benefits. No immediate community of the Nailsplay RAMSAR site, but the wetlands function as a buffer to flooding, removes pollutants, stores water, and provides essential water for agriculture in the larger area in the Waterberg biosphere. Nailsplay RAMSAR site has served as an important source for scientific research. Many masters and doctoral theses were published with data gathered on Nailsplay. My own doctoral thesis focused on baby tourism, birding, and the very important contribution to human well-being. Many publications, or most of the publications, on the natural environment, and this emphasizes again the importance of wetlands. The Prince of Nailsplay Executive Science Group has played an important role in the socio-cultural and socio-economic benefits of the wetlands by means of educational courses, such as birding courses, but also courses based on amphibians, arboreal and other recreational courses, such as photography. And these courses have taken place over more than 25 years. Funds generated by these courses help to assist the Nailsplay local management with maintenance expenditure. The Prince of Nailsplay also assists with the eradication of alien plants, erecting bird hives, training bird guides, renovation of pollution blocks, and a variety of vital infrastructure maintenance. Furthermore, Prince of Nailsplay has seen the marketing tool for Nailsplay RAMSAR site by means of the website, but also by means of the courses. Last but not least, Prince of Nailsplay keeps the local management accountable. When we look at the advice to local government regarding accreditation, the functioning and expertise of local government of any wetland is critical in the sustainable development of the RAMSAR site. uncoordinated and challenging management structures in national, provincial, and local governments are challenged in the South African context. Here, non-governmental organizations and citizen scientists play an important indirect influence on the sustainability of a wetland. Research has shown that the importance of Friends of Landscape and the integrated part it forms to the sustainability of the lifestyle RAMSAR site. In the South African context, we are experiencing rapid urbanization, and some of city wetlands will be impacted by more threats, such as pollution, human settlement, or the scarcity of water that we experience in South Africa, but that is also due to climate change. The EU RAMSAR accreditation was followed with guidelines. Local governments should implement clear guidelines.
Anki, just hold the phone closer to your mouth, please. Hold your phone closer to your mouth. Yeah.
Will help with guidelines, but local governments should implement clear guidelines and indicators to help monitor and evaluate the wetlands. These guidelines and indicators should be implemented in the development of the spatial and management plans of town and cities. The involvement of communities, such as citizen science groups, will be important because they will supply a local government with specialized skills that are not always available in government. And these groups will also form part, the social science, the citizen science group, will form part of the marketing and exploitation of wetlands. The execution of the project is very important. This we have seen in terms of land flow. One has seen that accreditation in various industries, such as the hospitality industry, you get grading. In the motor industry, they need environmental standards for accreditation to export. We've got the blue flag beaches, that is an accreditation scheme for the beaches in the world, the beach beaches in the world. And we have only a few to mention. It's not very competitive advantage in an already very competitive global ecotourism market, especially for South Africa and the impact that COVID has on our tourism market. The accreditation of RAMSAR wetland cities will improve the competitive advantage for South Africa, but also globally in the competitive market, and it will assist to provide employment and market the cities. Because if you look at the tourism market, many tourists who visit cities for the historic, history, geography. So the places will only be will have a positive impact on these specific cities. Thank you.
Thank you, Anki. I see you may have some notes, so if you wouldn't mind sharing those notes with us, and then we can include those notes that you have in the record, because unfortunately the sound quality wasn't very good, but thank you so much for persevering and trying to work through the bad connection that we've had. My last panelist today is Mr. Su, who's from the RAMSAR Regional Center. He's the Executive Director there. And Mr. Su, as convener of the Accredited Wetland City Mayoral Network, I would like you to tell us a little bit about your plans for the second roundtable of Wetland City Mayors that's going to be taking place very shortly in Amiens in France, where you bring together all these wetland city mayors. What, from your perspective, are the expected benefits of the mayors coming together and talking about their urban wetlands, also for their local communities who use these wetlands either for livelihoods or for recreation? So may I hand over to you, please.
Thank you, Ingrid, for inviting me to this meaningful webinar as a panelist. Of course, you just mentioned that shortly we will have a second roundtable for the Wetland City Mayors that will be held from 8th to 10th of June for 3 days. We have clear objectives to achieve through this conference, sharing the policies of wetland cities to learn each other. So for the cities, municipal level governments, mayors, the position of mayor is an elected position. So they always need to make the city better for the residents to live. And then that's the score that they can get for the next election for their position. So they need to learn about other cities better, or I mean, every city has different strength. So it's an opportunity to learn from other cities to make the city better. And then yes, in relation to that sharing, there will be about more than 20 presentations in 2 para sessions. So we provide simultaneous interpretation for 4 languages. So it's going to be more understandable, and then for the participating cities, easy for the speakers to speak with their own national language. And then also we can promote the interaction between the wetland cities, maybe a type of sisterhood. The cities with a similar environment or with the similar challenges, they can work together to make to overcome or to improve through the collaborative action together with other cities. And then also another objective of this Wetland City Mayors Roundtable is, this is important thing, adoption of network's strategic plan for the next 5 years through the mayors meeting. So the mayors will discuss the draft strategic plan that we have developed based on developed based on the strategic plan of the RAMSAR Convention. So the actions that they will make the actions that will be made by the wetland cities will be the direct contribution to the implementation of the RAMSAR Convention. That is another thing we can expect from this Mayors Roundtable. And then also we are trying to introduce one of the resolution that was adopted at the 14th Conference of Contracting Parties last year, the resolution 1411. So we will, this is about the wetland education in formal education sector, means that bringing wetland education elements in the formal education sector. So like more, we can provide the education on wetlands in more broader and general perspective of education. So we will encourage the wetland cities to designate wetland schools, at least one each city, and promote exchanges among wetland schools globally. And I believe that it will be a great contribution to the RAMSAR Convention as well. This is because this is the implementation of the RAMSAR resolution. And then the one other important thing is mayors are the decision makers. So it means that they are the key people to make the changes, to make differences. So like if we have more wetland cities, we can expect more visible outcome of the implementation or actions implementation of the RAMSAR Convention. So that's why we need to expand this wetland cities more and more. Then it's going to be more visible, I believe. And then the question about the benefits for the local people. So benefits for the local communities. This wetland city accreditation, like Dr. Boenway mentioned, or other presenters mentioned, this is a global recognition on the cities. So like they can be helpful for the ecotourism that they are promoting. And then also it can be helpful for it can increase the sales of products in the city. So many benefits that we can make. But so as a wetland city, some are in strength. I mean, some are really good at the ecotourism, but some are not really good at product sales or other benefits. But through the sharing session of this mayor's roundtable, then they can learn and then they can expand this benefits in the local communities. And then also, I believe that the ultimate benefit for from this wetland city accreditation of the RAMSAR Convention is the pride and the ownership engraved in their heart, and the fact that they will be able to live with a well-managed wetland with the sustainable wetland policy. I think that this is the benefit, the biggest benefit that they can get. And in addition to that, we are receiving a lot of requests and contacts to work with this, I mean, from the international organizations to be engaged in this wetland city accreditation. Like the ICLEI, we work more and more closely. And then also UNEP is interested in also. And then WWF, WWT, those are the IOPs of the RAMSAR, international organization partners of the RAMSAR Convention, and also UNESCO MIDAS program, and then Learning Cities program. They contacted us to develop more programs with them. So some of them are also participating in the second mayor's roundtable, and then we have a main section for the session for the international organizations. So we will listen to and we will learn what they are planning to do with wetland cities in their perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. And for all of those here that are representing cities, you heard Mr. Su's call. Please, let's get more and more cities around Africa joining the accreditation scheme. And with this, I just want to say thank you very, very much to all of my panelists, particularly those of you from China, from Korea. I know it is very, very late for you, and we really appreciate it. And as one of my colleagues said here today, it just shows the commitment of the people in the East to their wetlands. So thank you so much for being up with us for so late. I'm going to hand over now for a very special announcement. And I hope that we have Mr. Mangisi he's the Zimbabwe National Focal Point. Are you still with us? It's time for your announcement.
Yes, I'm still available. Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, everyone, where you are. Like what Ingrid has said, I am Fanuel Kudakwashe Mangisi from Zimbabwe. Let me take this opportunity to thank everybody who is on this platform. I think the announcement that I have is Zimbabwe will be hosting our next COP, that is COP 15. And the proposed venue for COP 15 will be Victoria Falls. I will come back to Victoria Falls in a moment, but I think this is a great honor and a great opportunity for Zimbabwe to organize and host such an important event. It's also a great opportunity for Africa to be on the map, to participate, to showcase their efforts, contributions, and all their efforts towards wise use of wetlands. It's also a very big opportunity for different players in the wetland management sector to come together, to share their experiences, and also to network. Let me then talk about Victoria Falls. The choice for Victoria Falls is the next venue for COP 15 was decided because of certain reasons. Reason number one is Victoria Falls is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And then number two, Victoria Falls is a very rich tourist destination. You will interact with wild animals. So welcome to interact with wild animals. You enjoy the rainforest. And then I think key among the reasons is also Victoria Falls is also one of our 7 sites that are listed as RAMSAR sites. So bring all the players to Victoria Falls. It will be the opportunity for us to showcase what we have done, what are the challenges that we have faced as Africa, as Zimbabwe in terms of wetlands management. So let me take this opportunity to invite everybody who is on this platform. Let me also take this opportunity to invite Africa. Let me take this opportunity to invite all the players in wetland management. Let me also take this opportunity to invite the whole world to come to COP15 in 2025. The dates are 23 to 31 July 2025. I repeat the dates again, 23 to 31 July. So everybody is welcome to be part of this great occasion. I thank you.
Thank you, and what an exciting high note for us to round up. Before we go, just a few short announcements. Julia Wood, there is a question for you in the chat box. If you can please respond to that before we leave. And we have found our video of the most recent RAMSAR sites. So we're going to show that as well. And then when that is done, while I say thank you to everybody, please hang on. We're going to show you the results of the poll. So we're quickly going to show that video now. If I can get my tech team, there you are. Off we go. Thank you so much. And it's my last pleasure to thank all of our speakers for their excellent presentations and for sharing their information and their knowledge. For the panelists, your patience in hanging around to get your chance to answer the questions, the incredible knowledge that you shared with us, the lessons that we've learned. We will certainly take home a lot of these messages, and I'm hoping to see a lot more cities coming from Africa. Let's take up the call from Mr. Su, and also we hope to see everybody together with Mr. Mangisi in Zimbabwe at the Vic Falls at the next COP. So thank you, everybody. It really has been a great webinar, and we're getting some good comments coming through from the chat box. And there you are, there's a reply from Julia Wood as well. And I want to just say with this, it's a wrap, and hope to see you at the wetlands at some stage, and certainly in Zimbabwe at the next COP. Thank you and goodbye.